Yes, yes, yes. What is up, Mixed Combat Radio family? A lot to get into on today's show. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia.
Is it a mega show? Is it not?
Oh my God! For those who don't know, we went like 30 minutes deep into a show. My dumbass didn't hit the record button. So there's any parts where I don't know if I mentioned it already or if it was on 30 minutes that are now unrecorded, which are now legendary 30 minutes. We don't know what was really said there. It could have been anything. Gary said he hates Texas, but we have no recording of it, so I can never prove it. And Melody's born there, so she's biased. She's gonna back up Gary.
Totally a camp. Look at him, Texas.
Who has that shirt? Gary does.
Gary.
Anyways, a lot to get to. Tank, Ryan Garcia, a couple other fight cards. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can catch it live, patreon.com/Training Now Network. Hit the like button, share the show, all that stuff. Links down below in the description to help support the show in financial and non-financial ways. I'm joined by two lovely co-hosts, Melody, Joy from the Beauty of Boxing. How are you? I can't believe those 30 minutes are just gone. I'm an idiot. And also on the show, somebody that's not an idiot, Gary from Dallas. Gary.
I appreciate that, but no one in the sound of your voice believes what you just said. No one believes I'm not an idiot. no one believes. I don't even believe that. Yeah, no, it's good to be back. We got the big fight coming up this week, and also May 8th, I'm going to have an article out on Omar Juarez that precedes the documentary that tells his story, and it's also the Monday of his fight week with Rances Bartolome. So check that out. That'll be live on May 8th, and then the documentary, which is directed by Jackie Magdaleno from San Antonio, will be released sometime, I think, in October.
I cannot wait to see the documentary. Omar Juarez, the best prospect in the U.S.
Ever.
Ooh. Yes, he's above that. Also, you can check out articles from me and Melody Joy at thebeautyboxing.com. I also have an article up on patreon.com/Training Now Network. It's going to be released for free on Mount Tai Press. So check that out on Monday. Probably going to be out really early in the morning because the editor is now in China right now. So totally different time zone. So it's probably going to get up probably middle of the night, Monday morning. So check that out. Like I said, big fight week. Mega fight? I don't know.
I got my own opinions. We'll get to that in a second. I will tell you why I don't think this is a super fight or a mega fight or how you want to define that.
Gary, let's just get into it, man. Let's just get into it.
One more time. Let's do this one more time, guys. I said this.
We'll act like this wasn't rehearsed,
Because I've had this shirt for 5
It's a long time.
years.
And the print's just now fading. So that's
I know.
That's a quality shirt. It's a quality
good quality shirt, yes.
Shout out to Boxing Antics who made it. Remember that guy?
No.
He's
I do.
Memes,
yeah.
The Pacquiao memes and all that. Yeah, Boxing Antics guy. I think.
I'm not really a part of boxing online discourse.
This was in
anymore.
2018, so
I should have been. You're right. I was in the thick of it then.
Anyways, that's how long I've been a Tank fan. Fan sounds bad. I'm not a fan of.
You endorse everything he does, Melody. That's what Melody's saying right now.
I don't endorse everything he did. Whoa.
This was after the Tiger Woods fiasco, the 18 holes of Tiger Woods. In a poll, Tiger Woods was still women's favorite athlete. It's
it was way too much.
That was definitely a headline though when he was doing his shit. Somebody definitely wrote out the 18 holes.
Mm-hmm.
He was still the number one favorite athlete of women. It's I guess it doesn't matter.
Tiger Woods. I mean, he had to have some kind of swag, winning all those.
I feel like every time I've seen an interview of Tiger Woods, he comes off like a very weird person. He has
colored eyes too. He's good looking.
He's rich.
He's rich. I'm lying.
He's rich.
Really rich. He used to date, and I don't know if you can remember this name. She was an Olympian, Dominique Dawes. She was a gymnast. He used to date her at Stanford. And she said that he was weird, right? He was he didn't think he could get girls even when they were dating. And I think once he got famous, I couldn't afford Jordans as a kid. I have money for Jordans. Now I have 30 pairs of Jordans, right? I couldn't have it then, so I can have it now. So I'm gonna have this all of it. Yeah, I think it's like
For real.
like Tiger's like, I didn't get any girls when I was young and awkward, but now I'm a billionaire. I don't know. Is he a billionaire? He's probably a billionaire. Now I'm gonna have all the girls I want. I think it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah. Anyways, Tiger Woods not a boxer. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. I mean, this does at least 300,000 pay-per-view buys, which is a successful number. I think we're gonna have a huge amount of illegal streaming allegedly for this event.
It's not gonna be what like Oscar's saying. It's the new face of boxing.
No, it's not gonna do a million plus.
That we're not doing, right? Like that's not.
If it does 600,000 plus, that's a big win. You know,
I'll be Canelo. I mean, then I guess they'd have to say that, but you don't. That's not. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, and also I think it's one of those things where like if it does really big, the only person that really gets the rub is the winner. The loser immediately gets discarded by a large casual audience.
Yes.
You know, they're only gonna pay attention to the other one because most likely this fight ends by knockout. But we'll get to that later. Gary, why is this fight not the biggest fight of the year?
I'm not saying it's not the biggest fight of the year, right? What I'm saying is, even if it is the biggest fight of the year, it's still not a super fight or a mega fight or however you want to classify it. And here's why. Tank Davis is not a world champion. Tank Davis is not a pound-for-pound guy. People don't have Tank Davis in their top 10 pound-for-pound, right? And he's the A side. He's the bigger name. And he's fighting a guy, Ryan Garcia, who has never been a world title holder. He hadn't even held a regional regular title, right? And his best win is who? Luke Campbell? Fortuna? Yes. Luke Campbell?
Luke Campbell.
So you got a prospect. You have a legitimate prospect who's never beaten I know Fortuna won a regular belt. We're not counting that. So you got a prospect who's never beaten a world champion, whose best win is Luke Campbell, against a guy who's not a reigning world champion, who's not a pound-for-pound guy. It's just not a mega fight. It's a good fight in the ring. It's good action. It's going to be a knockout. It's a good fight. But it's not a super fight. It's because you have two guys that haven't earned that level of magnitude, right? You have a non-pound-for-pound, non-world champion as the A side, and a prospect who's never beaten anyone of note besides Luke Campbell as the B side. And I agree. It'll do a decent pay-per-view number because that's the state of boxing right now. Like, this is the best fight we're going to get. But that being said, 300,000 pay-per-view buys is not a mega fight, and the names involved don't make it a mega fight.
I think you're right on that first point you said, that 300,000 does not make it a mega fight. But the second point, I think you're potentially incorrect. Just because of the way media is consumed. I mean, I know a lot of people are more willing to just watch like the IG clip of the knockout and not buy the pay-per-view. You know, when I have like casual friends and they hit me up about these types of fights, that's usually what they're willing to do, or find an illegal stream. So I see this fight being the biggest thing of entertainment this weekend. It doesn't matter what movie comes out. It doesn't matter what TV show comes out. It doesn't matter anything. This is going to be the biggest thing in entertainment.
Because you got the NBA playoffs. Does that do anything?
This is bigger than the NBA playoff game.
Yeah.
Even though the NBA playoff game will get, like, let's say, an average of 3 million, 4 million viewers on ESPN or whatever channel it's on, right? This will be the biggest thing trending on social media.
Well, right. And it also fits in, like, with how things are, like, who they're associated with, because Ryan Garcia is promoted by Oscar De La Hoya, who we know freaking hates Floyd Mayweather, and Gervonta is Floyd Mayweather's, you know,
but not really anymore.
It was. It's still, if you're a fan, that's a big deal, you know, like, so the Oscar Floyd feud is deep within us, obviously, like, you know, fans, we know that. So him having, you know, Ryan Garcia and him and this being Tank still with Showtime and Al Heyman, people are, you know, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest fight in boxing pay-per-view history for a very, very long time.
For a lot of people, that's a big deal. The hatred between Oscar and any other.
And these two have it, like, in a weird way, inherited that rivalry.
That's
that casual awareness too, in a way.
Right.
You know, Ryan, you know, it's been talked about all the time, but like Ryan being, you know, a good-looking guy like Oscar was, appealing to that sort of style of promoting and marketing. Gervonta Davis is a perfect fighter in a way for most of his fights. Only a few ones he's had real issues in. You know, definitely a fighter, not a lover. You know, like there's just been some sort of rhyming with history in a way with these two. I feel like it's going to really pique the casual interest. Pay-per-view number sort of, I think, is not that it doesn't matter. I don't think it's the ultimate thing that's going to reflect how big of a fight this is. I think it's going to be much more ethereal than that. It's going to be much more of a feeling we get on Saturday that this is big, regardless of the pay-per-view number. It's going to feel big. You know, minus the undercard, which does suck, like you say.
Yeah, that's my one problem with this fight is that the undercard, like, what kind of
there's no good lead in.
What are we paying $85? We're literally paying just for one fight. Well, I'm not comment down, okay?
I want to get on that. Melody brings up a good point I want to touch on. I want to touch on what Melody said, right? Ryan Garcia's fan base, and I think this will do 300,000 because I think there's appeal in this fight because it is going to be a good fight. And you know, I was at San Antonio when Garcia fought Emmanuel to go, and like there's a young audience, right? Like there's way more 16-year-old girls than I've ever seen at any fight in my life, right? Like I get it, I get his appeal, but they're not paying for us, are they? Like they're going to stream it for free, so those aren't going to add to the bottom line. And I don't know. Does Tank have a younger fan base, or is his fan base kind of like people my age who just are Tank fans?
He has the hip hop culture like behind him, basically. So literally any rapper he wants. He's from Baltimore, like anybody he wants.
And plus, he has the Al Heyman connection, so that's the automatic in with the music industry.
Yeah.
So Tank does appeal to, I would say, a predominantly younger audience than, let's say, the average boxing card or main event fighter.
Did you see Too Short got kicked out of the Golden State Warriors Sacramento Kings game the other day?
No, no, I'm not.
Too Short, top 10 rapper ever.
I mean, I think it's naturally. I think it makes sense to say that hip hop is more of a younger demographic.
Is it like? I feel like my parents said that. Like I'm gonna be 40 this year, right? Melody's almost my age, so like, are we young still? Because we grew up with hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that it's now generational.
We're the weird old elder millennials that are like stuck, right? We're not growing. Apparently, we're not growing up. That's what they say.
But yeah, let's say 16 to 40-year-olds right now all listen to hip hop. That's a massive group.
Yeah.
Like we're no longer talking about like the 24 to 29 age bracket and the 31 to the 36 age bracket. We're not talking about these different age brackets.
Kind of like the best of both worlds, because right now Ryan has every 14, 15-year-old girl dying to turn 18 to be with this guy, right? So gross. And then you have Tank, who has rappers, who has artists in the industry, in the music industry, backing him up. So it's kind of a lot going on.
And the two biggest like music genres right now are reggaeton and hip hop. Like that, those are the two biggest right now. Yeah. And it's a very young audience.
A Mexican American versus the African American. So I mean, it's it's a big deal.
Yeah.
For the youngins.
I mean,
it's fun to fight over.
Like when I see when we went to the gyms and stuff, like a lot, just a few weeks ago and stuff, or a few months ago, this was a fight that a lot of the younger guys were talking about. That they were asking, "What do you think? Who's going to win?" It's one that piques the interest of very much a younger audience, a newer audience to the sport as well.
I think they're looking up to both of these guys. That's why I can't stand that they have horrible, at least Gervonta has like a horrible rap sheet, because there's people obviously looking up to them,
Yeah, Ryan's just weird.
Ryan is weird.
He's a weird dude.
He is a weird dude. He likes a lot of weird things.
I think he's gonna have a mental breakdown sooner than we think.
That's
but
what I'm worried about. Actually, is like him losing and then having us as the public having to deal with his mental issues. I couldn't imagine me becoming like a millionaire overnight and then losing.
And I mean, and look, one of them is probably gonna get finished.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you want to get to the X's and O's, Gary, but I mean, Gervonta, I think, is gonna really bide his time in the first few rounds. gauge the timing, gauge the range, and then start picking it apart with counters, and then eventually hit him with something really hard, land a flurry, and put Ryan out of there. Ryan's going to be very upright, very tall, as he usually is with his chin out, trying to march him down with the lead left hook, which is what he does. I just don't think it's going to be that effective. I think maybe unlike what Gary mentioned earlier slightly, I think Gervonta's defense has improved drastically in the last few years. I think we're looking at a much more polished boxer, a much more of a triple threat, so to speak, in the ring. I don't see a guy that's just heavy hands with good timing. You know, when we talk about like Deontay Wilder in that sense, where his actual skill set's very basic, very rudimentary, very still a neophyte in a way in terms of his skill set, but he has all this power and timing and speed that makes up for it. I think Gervonta is the exact opposite. I think he has really wrapped himself in a high level sense of boxing technique and IQ. Gary, any thoughts?
I still don't think, like, when Tank fights longer fighters, Barrios, Santa Cruz, they hit him. And he can stop him, and I think he'll stop Ryan Garcia. But I think Ryan Garcia has a path to victory, and that's early on, walk him in to a left hook. I think Ryan Garcia with his left hook, right, like that was De La Hoya's bread and butter too, is more targeted or won't struggle with, like, some people hate fighting southpaws. I don't think Ryan's going to have that issue because his best punch is his left hook, which the lefty is in line to get hit with, right? So I think Ryan's plan here is to walk him into a left hook, right? Again, I'm picking Tank, so I don't think Ryan's going to land the magic shot, but I think there's a path there. I think there's two ways this fight ends: Ryan early or Tank in the middle to late rounds. And I'm just leaning towards Tank in the middle to late rounds. I still think he's going to get hit, and I think Ryan will be up on the cards when they're scraping him off the canvas. Like, you're going to have the Ryan Garcia fans say, but he was up on the scorecards, right? Like the British fighters say when the Mexican finally cracks their ribs and drops them, right? When he was up on the scorecard, who cares, right? Like, but I think Ryan Garcia will be doing well for the first half of the fight. And then Ryan's going to get in on him, Tank's to get in on him and end it brutally, like he always does.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Gary. My bad.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I don't think the left hook is for Ryan. The lead left hook is going to be that much of a winning shot against Gervonta Davis, who's a southpaw. I don't think I disagree. That's the open shot, so to speak, as you say. You know, the way Gervonta can roll under it with the shoulder, it's going to hit his back side, not the front side of him. You know, unless it hits him behind the ear, you know, where you get that equilibrium shot. I mean, I think Gervonta's going to duck under it very well, and he's going to get out of the side door and just be resetting constantly. I mean, I know this is hyperbolic in a sense, but when I see Gervonta's defensive improvements as of late, it reminds me very much of when Canelo started making those defensive jumps in his game. When all of a sudden he could roll with shots, he can duck under shots, he could box with the best of them. He didn't have that when he was fighting, you know, Miguel Cotto or Austin Trout or Laura. Canelo didn't have that head movement. He has developed that. I think Gervonta has done something very similar where he's developed this really natural head movement and defensive rhythm that he's going to be harder to hit than I think a lot of people think. And I think people overstate how much Leo and Barrios landed on him and how much effect those shots did because of Tank's growing defense that had just started around that time. Now it's, I think, really at a more of a mature stage. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if, let's say, Ryan overcommits too. Ryan's a guy that jumps into shots. He's a guy that will leap into shots.
It's because of his mental, you know, his mental health is. If you see everything that Tank's gone through, and he's still he's still chill, he's level-headed, like he's the level-headed one of this fight. And if you see his rap sheet, obviously he's not, you know. But then you have Ryan, who's his mental health is obviously, he's even taking a break from boxing because he couldn't handle it. And not that he's weak for that or anything, but of the two, he's obviously the weaker mentally, right?
And not just that, I just think that Ryan's like style of fighting is an impatient style.
He gets ahead of himself.
You know, there's very few fights where I've seen him be patient and work around the jab and just box and be okay with that. You know, he puts himself into very bad spots. And, you know, when we just saw what Tank did with Rolly Romero last year, where Rolly's another guy that's going to be jumping into shots, another guy that's a little bit impatient with his strategy and tactics. Gervonta timed a shot and connected. And he really didn't take that much damage up until that point. He might have lost rounds, but he wasn't taking damage. I would not be surprised if we see something very similar in this fight where the first 4 rounds or so, Ryan's throwing more shots and maybe technically landing more shots, but they're not having the effect that he wants. They're not landing how he wants. And all of a sudden, he's now forcing positions where he shouldn't be. And now he's going to be caught. And Tank, like Gary said, if he catches you with that timing and power, he's going to put most guys out. And I think Ryan's hiding a little bit of glass in that chin. I think Ryan's going to end up very much like the Amir Khan of American boxing.
We're going to have Coach Henry yelling, he was up on the scorecard.
I can already, all 3 judges had him up when he got destroyed in the 8th round. It's like,
you're saying
12-round fight, bro. If it was a 6-round fight, you'd be doing great. Yeah.
Oh my word.
Okay, we have the press conference up on the TV, so I can't show it to anyone. I apologize.
Poor
but
Brian Custer, look at him.
Oscar's wearing like a teal blue
he
suit.
Looks like he's wearing Holly.
But no shirt.
But Holly was wearing that, remember? There's a picture of her in that blue. No, hers has glitter on the. What is he wearing? A dream catcher on his shirt?
I don't.
What are we doing?
The outfits are very bad in the press conference. Digressing, guys. Sorry.
Oh,
we have to get back here.
Purses. He's got a purse.
I mean, let's say Tank wins, because we're all picking Tank technically to win.
Yes.
Where does he go next?
Tank?
Yeah. You want to start?
Where does Tank go next?
Like, what's a realistic fight for him next? Is it gonna be a tune-up PBC fight, or is it gonna be?
Oh yeah, he's gonna start cherry picking soon. He doesn't want to fuck up his.
He's gonna start cherry picking.
Start. He's gonna continue. He's gonna.
Excuse me, Gary.
He's gonna move along.
He hasn't been cherry picking for some time.
But if not, Al Heyman will for him. So that's I think like he's lucky because he has Showtime. Like we thought with Tank leaving Mayweather, we thought, oh my God, this is gonna be a problem. Where's Tank gonna go? But now he ain't going nowhere. He's at home in Showtime. So I feel like he's gonna be promoted the best of what he puts to. Like he'll be like Leo. Leo just does whatever Al Heyman says. He'll just go along and do that. If he continues, he'll have a good career.
I do wonder about like title opportunity, so to speak, because all the titles are pretty much held up on the top ranked ESPN side at 135, right? 140 is also predominantly held by Top Rank and ESPN.
So then you think
he's going to have to make a crosstown fight.
Loma Haney, and then you think Haney
versus Shakur.
And then Shakur Tank?
I mean, because I think Haney and Loma's a toss-up. So I don't have a firm opinion about.
I know. I love Loma. I'm going to stay with Loma. I don't care. I love him.
I don't know who wins that one, and if Haney wins, he's a free agent, so potentially we get the Tank fight. But if Loma wins, that's not going anywhere. That's gonna be Loma and Shakur, and all those belts are still held up by ESPN. I mean, Gary, thoughts on where Tank goes next if he wins? I mean, because of the situation with the belts and Top Rank's sort of pseudo monopoly over them in this weight range.
I think ideally they wanted either Puello, who has maybe we'll get into that later, who no longer has a belt at 140, or Rolly again, right? Like I think they like that fight, Rolly, and Rolly may end up getting a belt out of this now. So I think like we may see Rolly Tank Part 2. Obviously, the fight would, assuming Haney beats Loma, right? That would be a mega fight. If Haney is coming off a Loma win and Tank is coming off a Ryan Garcia knockout, that's a huge fight, right?
It's not a mega fight.
I can't see. Fair enough. Fair enough, right? But I think Haney's name would carry a lot more weight after that kind of win, after beating Loma, right? It's still not a mega fight, fine, but it's a hot fight. But I don't see like everyone lining up again and getting it to work again when you have a PBC guy and a top rank guy agreeing to fight each other, like without it taking 5 years to marinate, right? Like I don't see that happening. So realistically, I think either Puello, I guess that's off the table now. So I guess Tank Rolly 2 would be what we're looking at.
Ryan Rolly would be fun.
I wouldn't mind a Ryan Rolly fight.
Ryan Rolly would be fun.
Off
okay,
of
real quick, Gary.
Progray, can we do that? Would Tank fight Progray?
Well, first of all, Goosen has now taken off his jean jacket. He is now wearing a black snakeskin jacket.
No, that could be alligator skin as well.
Or croc. I don't know, but it is fashionable. Anyways, and Tank is wearing a hat that says "I love sex."
I heart
very
sex.
Classy.
That's
this fight.
I will say this: the print and the style of it, I do like.
I don't. No, it's like
it's a weird thing to advertise.
I don't like. I feel like the words are stupid, but like the
if
the words are something else, like I heart boxing. Like
it doesn't say I heart boxing. It says I heart sex.
I understand what it does. Melody. Okay.
Look at Ryan.
Is that like a logo? Is that advertising or something, or does he just want the ladies to know?
He looks so bad right now, though. Like
Gary,
you can see his cheekbones popping out.
Gary, if you're Gervonta Davis, okay, that's both advertisement for yourself and a brand, okay?
It is advertising for a brand. Like that's a weird thing to like put out there, you know?
Like most people do. You know what I mean? Like who doesn't? That's what I want to ask him. Like who doesn't like sex?
Asexual.
Are you dealing with people who
you know,
like pretty sure most people do, but thanks.
Like if I said, Matt, what are your hobbies? Well, I like fishing, I like golf, I like gaming, and I like having sex. It's kind of like a weird thing. Like, okay, you know, it's kind of weird.
Unspoken of, where like everyone likes it. You know, you don't need to say it because everyone likes it. It's the one universal like hobby that everyone has.
Maybe his is like I like sex after boxing camp or something in the back. It continues.
After.
It's terrible.
Because women weaken knees.
Giving us.
What, Gary?
I said women weaken knees. So after camp, not during camp. Yes. After camp.
This is not okay. Anyways,
you should see Oscar's
if
face.
Ryan wins.
If Ryan wins, oh my gosh, I can't.
I have two questions. Two questions for you guys. One, does Golden Boy really have a replacement for Canelo now going forward? And two, who does he realistically fight next? Are we in the same exact dilemma as Tank when it comes to the belts? And you know, is Ryan going to move up? To 140? I mean, what are we thinking here, Melody?
I think the fact that Ryan is more willing to fight, like even his promoter will say, like, this wasn't my idea, you know?
Yeah, he'll say that.
He'll say that to his face, like wasn't my idea. So I think if Ryan beats Tank, I mean, that's going to show everybody, literally, it's going to shock the fucking world. It's not what we were thinking. So I think, moving forward, he has to fight to get a championship. Like that has to happen for Ryan after this. Yeah,
whether it's Progray or for a vacant belt, something. He has to get a world championship.
Rolly will win it, then he can get it from Rolly. At least just legitimize himself.
I mean, I feel like this win would legitimize him in a large
but a belt would too.
Do you feel like he would be the replacement to Canelo?
No.
You don't feel like he has the star power?
He could not go to Mexico and sell at stadium. Ryan's not going to Mexico and selling nothing. Me and Ryan know the same amount of Spanish. Okay, it's not happening. No, boo boo.
No, you were born in El Paso. You don't speak Spanish.
I was born in Pasadena, first of all.
Oh, I thought you were born in El Paso.
No? Pasadena, Texas. Still.
Okay. All right.
Pasadena, California, which is
California.
The most famous Pasadena.
I was from Texas, but
it's like being born in Paris, Texas, instead of Paris, France.
Yeah.
Again, Texas having two cities that are lesser than other cities.
Yeah.
Why lesser by what standard?
Are we really going to go there? You think?
Well, lesser by what standard? Like that seems like a pretty subjective thing to say. I don't think there's anything lesser about any city in Texas, except for Houston, of course.
I was that Was that shade on Houston?
I like Houston. Houston's just fine. Houston's the armpit of Texas.
My mom was born there.
Like
Houston, Austin,
Houston looks fine. I've never been to Houston. I've only been to Dallas and like North, like Amarillo.
I've only been to Pasadena.
California or Texas?
I was born on the way to California. Like my parents had to stop in Pasadena for 4 days on the way.
Oh, okay.
So I was born in Texas, and I have a bunch of family there, tons of family I don't even know, but they were on their way to California, so I grew up in Palm Springs, baby.
Family history time with Melody.
Thanks.
Anyways, also on this card, unless anyone. Oh, I didn't go to Gary. Ryan, if he wins, is he the next Canelo for Golden Boy?
He's their biggest star, and he's a star, right? But he's not Canelo star. He'll be a big star, and he may be the biggest star in boxing besides Canelo. But he's not gonna, like Melody said, he's not gonna reach the heights of Canelo.
What if he goes on like this like insane run where he beats Tank, he beats Haney, he then beats Prograis at 140, he then fights, I don't know, like Earl Spence at 147 and beats him, or some stupid thing like Boots instead because Spence tired.
He beats all those guys.
Like if Ryan goes on like this insane run,
beats Devin Haney,
I think he at some point in that run he will convert to a mega draw, like bigger than Canelo or as big as Canelo. Like he'll be able to do a million pay-per-view buys. I don't think that'll be out of the question. And
then after he does all those things, we'll ride our magical unicorns to the moon and have an early retirement, right? Like, okay, like I mean, that's not gonna happen. He's not gonna beat those guys, right? But if hypothetically he beat all those guys, if he beat Haney and then went up to 147 and beat Verge and Boots and did all these crazy things, yeah, he'd be a massive star. But he's not going to do that because he's not that good.
If he beats Tank convincingly, I will pick him versus the winner of Haney Loma. Am I out of pocket for that one?
No, it's not wrong to pick him. No, it's not wrong to pick him at all. I don't know if I would pick him, right? Like, because it's still like Haney is such a different fight than the Tank.
Yeah, that's true. Much different fight than Tank, absolutely.
An extremely technical boxer.
Yeah, and big too. Haney is so big, massive. His wingspan, his height.
Broad shoulders.
Would you pick him to beat Shakur if he beat Tank? So I'm saying there's so many guys that can beat Ryan, and I think Ryan is good. I'm just saying that's a tough weight class right now.
Who's gonna beat Ryan? Shakur would literally eat him.
He would.
Fucking murder.
But what does it say about Shakur? What does it say about Shakur that we all three, like on the last show, were like Shakur is the best lightweight regardless, and then we all forgot about him. Like we only talked about him fighting Loma if Loma beats Haney. That's the only way we talked about him.
It's the money fight for him. Where else is Shakur gonna go? Anybody they put in front of Shakur, we know he's just gonna obliterate them right now. Who are they gonna give him?
I mean, I think the winner of this fight is potentially the best person on lightweight. Like this is one of those fights that determines that. So it's Devin Haney and Loma and Shakur versus that winner. Like we're close to figuring out who is the best lightweight on the planet.
Can we throw Teofimo in there?
No, he's at 140. He's at 140. We can't do that.
Yeah. But so is it Regis?
Yeah, Regis at 140. Yeah. Because
who else?
Who's Teo fighting? Didn't they announce that?
Teo is fighting Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor. Yeah. I mean, that's the fight that determines who's the best 140 pounder right there.
It's still Regis though, right? Like Regis.
It's not Regis. It's not.
I love you. Hell yeah.
Look, here's the sad part, okay? I think Josh Taylor's fought like one time since their fight.
Right. He's fought Ramirez and then he's fought Catterall. And he's won twice. Yeah.
Prograis has fought like a dozen times, guys. I can't tell you.
And he looked fucking spectacular, remember? Even when he fought on fucking Marvin Nation, bro. He stole the show. Don't talk about Regis. in a bad light.
I think Regis is going through what Laura went like a decade ago, where he's so good and everyone knows he's so good that they're just not going to fight him because it doesn't bring the paycheck you would hope for, and you're not going to beat him. So you're just not going to fight him. Like I think Regis is so good.
But I realize a lot of people were fucking ducking him.
I don't disagree with that analogy or comparison, Gary, that he was like a Laura at 140. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. Any other thoughts, guys, on Tank Ryan Garcia before we move on?
Ryan looks fucking horrible. Look
at the press conference. Yeah, he looks very emaciated. Like
I mean, it could be because he has a great jaw. That could be, but sitting next to the build-a-body Oscar next to him, he looks.
Well, even Tank looks like he's like.
He doesn't look that bad.
He looks good. His cheeks are.
He looks good.
Yeah, Ryan looks like he's having a tough weight cut.
Because Tank's gonna miss weight by 5 pounds again. That's why he looks good.
I have Tank shade by Gary.
No, I like Tank. I'm a Tank guy, right? Like I think Tank's gonna win. Yeah, I'm just saying. Does Tank have a history of missing weight? That's all.
I didn't close the
window. He likes to beef up, you know.
I heart sex. Also on the card, David Morrell, Cuban sensation, one of Gary's best or favorite prospects, his boy. Fighting
Melinicki.
No, hold on, we're not getting to the best prospect in boxing.
You said the best guy that Gary liked. I was like,
oh yeah, that is Vito. That is true. You're right.
Vito's gonna lose too. He's fighting my boy Jose Charles. He's gonna lose.
Fighting a guy that's way more experienced than him. Yeah, very possible. David Morrell fighting Yamaguchi Falcao. Gabe Rosado fighting Bekmir Melekuziev. Vito Melinicki fighting, as Gary said, his boy Jose Sanchez Charles. Tristan Calcuth fighting some guy named Jaime Celario. And there's other fights on the card. They don't matter.
No. But it's
Floyd Schofield's on the card.
Is it the co-main event? Is the co-main event Gabe and Beck?
Or is it David Morrell?
Or David Morrell. I don't know, but the Gabe Rosado rematch is gonna be fun.
Yeah, but
remember when
it's arguably the best fight on the undercard, and that's kind of
I know that's really
a red flag here. I'm not surprised though. I bet this main event was super expensive to get. It's two guys from cross town. You have cross network. You have all these hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah,
so that means the cookie jar needs to be a lot bigger because there's more hands in it.
Yeah, but Golden Boy could have done better than that. They gave him Gabe Rosado. Really, that's it.
Golden Boy doesn't have much. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot.
Ortiz
can't fight.
Ortiz has a disease. He's retired.
Leave him alone.
Okay. Like, they don't have anyone.
He's back July 9th, by the way.
Verge?
Unofficially. Rumor has it.
Gary's heard from Virgil's dad.
I love Virgil.
I didn't say nothing.
I didn't say. I'm just guessing. I'm totally guessing. Gary hasn't told me anything. Golden Boy doesn't have anyone. And I don't think PBC has what they do. They do have a lot. Here's the deal, though. We say that with an asterisk because Golden Boy, PBC, Top Rank, Matchroom. I'm gonna end the list there. Those are the biggest promotions in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
PBC obviously is pseudo promotion. I understand that. I don't want people like angry on PBC Twitter at me for saying that PBC is a promotion, even though it's 2023. Who cares? I will say that they, in effect, have an entire monopoly over the top 60% of fighters in the sport, with the other 40% being international promotions.
Mm-hmm.
They have the stables to do this. It's another reason why we very rarely get these types of main events, because they have so much of a monopoly over, in a sense, the labor force of the sport, the market space of the sport, that they don't need to do these crosstown fights. They can make money in-house and be copacetic. So, we're in this age now where Golden Boy is losing a large part of its roster. There's a little more parity on the local scene now than in previous years. I would say there's a lot more weird shows, so to speak, like Marv Nation, no shade, but them getting a big fight, like that's not a thing that was very common. Guys like Samson's Boxing and all those, even though they're feeder leagues into other promotions, they hold a lot of fighters too. So we're in this weird age where we get more crosstown fights, but there's still enough of barrier, so to speak, in the way the market is set up, the way the economy is set up in the sport, that these promotions don't have to do it. Both these men wanted to do it, and they kind of forced their hand. That's very rare. So kind of kudos to them, before we head off of this, to these two fighters, not to the promotions, because the promotions were very happy to keep both guys in their own stables fighting guys we really didn't care about, because they have 100, 200 fighters on the roster.
Yeah.
And a local promotion maybe has 5. It's just a drastically different in terms of the size of these companies. Gary, Melody, any other thoughts before we move on?
No.
I will say Dave Morrell, the truth.
Vitor Belnicki's going to lose. You heard that first. So when he loses, just like when I told y'all, Otha Jones is going to lose to Jorge Castaneda, and it happened. Vitor Belnicki's going to lose, so don't say I didn't say that. You can timestamp that right here. I am picking
Vito Belnicki to win this fight by stoppage. I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
That's horrible.
No, he's never going to get a stoppage win in his life. Moving on.
Right. I was going to tell you.
What?
It's funny. Gervonta's up there talking, like listening to Ryan, and he's literally like ripping his nails off. Like mine are so ripped off.
He's stress biting his nails, just like all of us do.
No, like when you get mad, like I get mad and I just bite my nails. Like, oh, like it helps me, relief. And I could see Tank up there biting the shit out of his nails. Like
we have the audio off on the press conference. It's just them two yelling at each other.
Yeah,
it looks fun.
Tank.
Yeah, I don't bite my nails. I crack my knuckles and my neck. Right? Like I don't bite my nails.
The crack in the neck is. It's good. That's a good one.
Oh, did you hear that? Oh, another one.
That was good. Also, speaking of good, Joe Cordina, UK / contender, / champion, soon to be.
Hey, who
right? Because Rakimov is the champion here, right? Gary,
what happened to Cordina's belt?
Is Cordina the champion or is Rakimov the champion? I forget.
Cordina's the champion.
Yeah, Cordina's a champion. That's this week.
Unless he had his belt taken or vacated or something. But
yes, it's this weekend.
Joe Cordina
boom, in Cardiff.
Shaka. Wow.
Shakam Rakimov. I love this fight.
I will always be happy with him because he was on the very first card I ever promoted in 2018. He was on it. I'll always remember him.
He's a really fun fighter too. I mean, this is gonna be a good, different sort of style clash.
That was like a 3rd win in the United States, and that was, on our promotion. It's pretty cool.
Joe Cordina's more of a boxer, slick fighter. Rakimov is a much more of a bruiser.
Sure.
I'm excited for the style matchup here.
What do they got on the undercard?
Gary's boys.
They do have Sandy Ryan.
The undercard, the Zelfer Barrett fight. I don't know if you guys know Jason Sanchez, but he's a prospect. He's good. Like I'm not saying he's gonna win, but this is a real fight between two prospects who with championship pedigree, like with championship aspirations. Like this is a real fight. It's not an easy fight for him. If he wins it,
I would say Jason Sanchez, guy that's lost to Oscar Valdez, Adam Lopez, and Christopher Diaz. We kind of know where his level's at. Zelfa Barrett, a guy that I think could just be on that level, at the same level as Jason Sanchez, just on the UK side of it. So it should be a good even matchup. You said Sandy Ryan's on the show. Sky Nicholson on the show. And that's about it from people that I know.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else.
Is Sky Nicholson good?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I can't really say I've seen any of her fights, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know I have. She's Australian, right?
I don't know. I heard the rumor about her and Eddie.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I know about. Allegedly. He's a married man.
Show.
Like we can't.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
He's a wife? Yeah. I've never seen his wife.
For a long time. They've been photographed together, but she's never at the events or anything.
Yeah, I never see her at events or anything.
Her and the kids stay in the UK.
Why?
I don't know.
So that Eddie can do his thing over here.
I mean, am I still part of your show?
They probably just have an open marriage.
I was like,
at this point. They got to make enough money.
You want to have a podcast? Well, you can have a podcast, but you have to have me on there. That's what I did.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. I was like, please. Well,
imagine going to another country without me.
I was like, I'll be honest. For those that are listening on the free side, this show came back in large part due to Melody. That is true.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't want.
Don't be nice to me and then be mean. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I mean, I'm not getting into like why we're no longer in the promotional side of the sport. But
no, I'm not.
I kind of wanted to step away from boxing in a large way. I mean, we still watch the fights every weekend, so I could still technically do the show, but we were busy on the promotional side on the local scene, and we were working, so we really couldn't do the show. I kind of wanted to take a step back. Melody was like, "No, you should do it," and I was like, "I think I'm the one that kind of convinced you to jump on with me and Gary, and kind of combine forces here, because like, why not? It's just easier." And then it gives us all three content to use after the fact. And then we can all three have our own autonomy and what we want to do in our own channels. To me, it just makes the most sense. But yes, I mean, thank you, Melody. You're a large reason why Mixed Combat Radio is back. And Gary's lovely face. I miss,
but not Rob. Not Rob. Rob, what's up, bro?
Rob's not here.
Where you at, bro?
I think Rob died from old age.
He's very, very old. He's very, very old.
Oh, he's
like, almost old enough to run for president.
I think he's technically younger than Gary.
So like 70?
He's old. He's got like 5 years old. He's like 45. He's older than me.
He's not older than you.
Rob's a lot older than me. Yeah. That's why I always make fun of him for being old.
I don't think he's that much older than Gary.
I say he's 5 years older than me.
That's, again, not that much. Gary's 40. Rob's
39. I'd be 40.
But Rob has like
August.
a lot of gray hair and like a little bit.
Dude, I'm getting crazy gray hair.
Rob just looks older.
Like literally, my hair's so dark, and then you see like one huge white hair. I can't take it.
I will say this because Rob is like, he hasn't listened to any of our shows probably since we come back, but he'll somehow listen to this one.
He'll pick up like 100 times.
He'll
Rob,
pick up
where
the
are
antenna.
you?
He'll pick up the antenna and be like,
if you don't get on here, Rob, I'm gonna think these guys are lying.
Rob, though, I shouldn't say you look older because that sounds like I'm talking shit about your appearance.
Really shady
you look elegant and very much like a gentleman, Rob.
Is it the platinum hair? Is he doing like Silver Fox? Because look, Gary's almost there. Look at Gary. Yeah. He's almost there.
No, but see the top of Gary, that's still pretty black and brown.
Yeah.
Rob has no hair on top, except for the little bit on the sides, and that's white. He's bald. So.
And receding hairline.
Yeah.
I have brilliant hair.
You have such nice hair, Gary. Yeah. Really. You
Gary has like long locks of hair.
And the Silver Fox look. Love it. I really do.
Yeah. So when I was like 22, my boss, right, when I was a stockbroker, like, he's walking by me when I'm sitting down. He looks at me, and he's like probably 10 years older than me. And he goes, "How old are you?" I was like 22, 23, whatever I was. He's like, "Gray hair already? Whew, tough break." And the guy's like 500 pounds, right? And I go, "How old are you?" He's like 32. I'm like 32 and 500 pounds already. Tough break. Like I used to be really self-conscious about having gray hair because I had gray hairs early. Now that I'm older, I dig it.
No, it's so cool.
I have a lot of gray hair at 28, unfortunately. And I've accepted it fully, I think. Like I'll occasionally pull one out, like if it's like super white and super long. I'll pull that motherfucker out occasionally, but most of the time, like I leave it in my beard. I leave it in like the side of my head. Like I'm getting the George Clooney like side hair, the side grays.
It's the one good thing about being a guy is you age and it doesn't like women always try to look younger. I try to keep the fountain of youth. I'm fine with aging. I think I look better now as a 39-year-old than as a 20-year-old.
Anybody who's ever dated me, they can't even say they dated me. I'm a whole other person. Like
why
in my 40s, I'm gonna fucking glow, bro.
Why are you talking shit about me saying that I have the George Clooney hair?
He's like, I kind of look like George Clooney. Yeah, okay.
Thanks. I'm just talking about the hair.
Sorry.
When George Clooney started going gray, okay? All I'm talking about.
Sorry. That was funny.
I think that actually looked like George Clooney, asshole. Anyways,
right away.
There's also a Thompson boxing promotions. RIP
Ken Thompson.
I mean, I really don't know you. I don't think I ever met you. And you're a promoter, so like whatever. But you personally, as like a human being, I really don't care.
He was such a good guy.
But like I like the shows. I like local shows. So that's cool.
And they brought Danny Roman. I can never.
They brought one guy that kind of has some success.
That doesn't matter.
They've had other guys. They had Jose Cesar Lopez, didn't they?
Again, they had one guy that had some success.
I feel like they've had other guys, maybe not world champions, but they've had other good fights. I think
Daniel Ramon was a world champion. I'll give them that. He was like a WBA like full champion when he fought.
He had 2 belts at one point.
Yeah, he was a unified, right? Because he fought Tigre Doheny. I was there for that live forum. Digressing. Were you that? That's that
I think so.
Yes.
In Inglewood.
Yeah. Back when we used to have like a lot of fights at the forum.
Yeah.
We had that stretch of like 5
so many
years.
People at the forum. I met Prince Nassim at the fucking forum, dude.
Prince Nassim was
my life, bro. Really? Prince?
I don't know anyone on this card except for George Acosta and Cesar Villarraga. That's the main event. That's the only guys I know of. I don't know anyone else on this card. Do you know anyone? Like Anthony Chavez, is that a name that's familiar to you?
Yeah, Anthony Chavez, Pretty Boy. Remember he's
oh yes,
Pretty Boy, but he had a couple losses like on top rank shows in the bubble and stuff like that. I think he had some big stuff, but he's Team Pretty Boy, I think is his
dude. He beat the Money Mike Fowler.
Fucking Money Mike.
For those who don't know, Money Mike Fowler is like
get to know him.
He's the journeyman of journeymen in like
almost because Prince. Remember the other one, Alvin Prince?
No, this one's better, dude.
Alvin's negative. Oh shit.
Money Mike Fowler. Mike Fowler. Look him on a box rec, people. Okay.
Please look him up.
His record's 8 and
Wins.
49. Okay. He's on like every like
Gary,
show. There's so many guys.
He's been knocked out 25 times.
And he's so good.
How do they keep licensing you when you've been knocked out that much? Like just stop.
Dude,
like
I've seen him. I've taken him to the hospital. That's how. I've been to the hospital because somebody knocked him out and like ruptured his eardrum. And I was working the promotion. I had to take him to the fucking hospital twice. Like this guy's been knocked out so many times.
To be fair, guys, after he like lost 20 times in a row, he
who?
stopped getting sanctioned by California in like normal states and could only fight in like Florida, South Carolina, and Oregon, which are horrible commissions. So there's the reason why, Gary, is that how can he keep fighting? Because he commission shops. He goes to
he totally knows. He's like, I need $1,000 to get me through this month. That's what he does. That's it. I don't give a fuck. But come on, look at that record. 8 wins, 49 losses.
The sad part is, imagine this. You're this young guy, right? 2014. You have 3 wins in a row to start your career. And then you basically don't have any other wins for the rest of your career.
Dude, that sucks.
That's amazing. Anyways.
Poor kid.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
Good guy.
Any other thoughts today? Because we're done with fights. There's no major news. Gary mentioned the PD test. Connor Ben and UCAD / British Boxing World Control are having issues and drama, but it's very hard for me to care about this because we know that his own promoter is saying it doesn't matter. We'll take him to another country to fight. So like it just to me it's all just bluster from the regulatory side with no real authority. So it doesn't really matter. Tyson Fury said he's going to fight someone. He's announcing a fight soon. That's monstrous. Watch it be like Francis Ngannou or some bullshit like that instead of Alexander Usyk. Because he's ducking Alexander Usyk, just like Alexander Usyk is ducking Zhilei Zhang. Okay, let's get it right here. Those are facts. 100% facts.
He wants none of that Zhilei Zhang smoke. None of it.
Dude, you see what Zhang said? He said, "Chat shit, get zhanged." Okay.
Get zhanged.
Flip Ergovich knows about that.
Anyways, final thoughts, Gary. Let's go to you first.
Thanks for the memories, Luis Collazo. That's really it. I'm taking. I guess we're all taking Tank by knockout, but I'm gonna officially take it by 8th round knockout. That's my official prediction. Please follow me on all forms of social media. 3D Boxing, 3D Boxing Blog. Subscribe to my channel, Texas Boxing Scene. And again, I'm going to have that article out on the Omar Juarez and his documentary that will be released. That'll be live on TexasBoxingScene.com and other places on May 8th. It is April 20th. Hey, Matt, it's 420. Got any plans today?
No, I'm poor. Donate to the show, guys.
Tip, that's it.
Links below in the description.
From Texas to the world.
2 hours to 420, so.
Oh, I just missed it on my time. Yeah. From Texas to the world. Thank you, and God bless.
Melody, final thoughts?
So, guys, I think we're all picking Tank, right?
Yeah.
To win. So let's see. Hopefully, we get a
what
good
round?
I think 7. I think he's. I already said it like days ago. So
this is gonna be Price is Right. I'm picking 6.
Okay.
So we're all on the same page.
7,
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, eventually he's gonna get it, hopefully. So, but I mean, it's gonna be fun. Me and Matt this weekend wrote articles on our website, The Beauty of Boxing, so you can check that out. Check some photographs that he took of the fights, and yeah, that's it.
Yes. Remember, if you're watching this live on YouTube, either on all of our channels, Beauty of Boxing, Mixed Combat Radio, Training Now Network, and of course Texas Boxing Scene. Hit the like button, share the show, all that fun stuff. Links below in our descriptions to help support all 3 of us. And what else? Articles, like you've said, Beauty of Boxing, articles on Texas Boxing Scene. Our article coming out on Monday. It's political in nature. I hope everyone enjoys it on Mount Tai Press. And I hope you all enjoy the fights. Have a good night, good evening, wherever you are. Peace.